there are 7 pills. I have no idea what is this pill doing. What is it going to listen? I haven't been to a pill person in a matter of long time. You know what I'm saying? And to the point where, excuse me, doctor, can you tell me what this pill is for? Excuse me, doctor, what pill do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
Look, I'm exhausted thinking about what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? You know, at 94, you know, the day after that is not promised. It's not
Right.
promised. You know, I have things from my dad that's in storage. And there are little things that I say, you know, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying?
They tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And they when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right?
Wendy Williams was once the queen of talk shows, her bold personality and no-holds-barred style making her a household name. She had it all: fame, fortune, and the adoration of millions. But somewhere along the way, the woman who once seemed invincible started to fade. What happened to Wendy Williams? How did the fiery, unapologetic star transform into a woman whose very future seemed uncertain? Her story is one of highs and lows, triumphs and tragedies, and the truth behind her fall is far more devastating than anyone could have ever imagined. The spark that ignited a career. Wendy Williams wasn't your average radio host. From the moment she stepped behind the microphone, her unapologetic, larger-than-life persona captured the attention of millions. Her rise to fame wasn't just about her opinions on celebrity gossip, though she certainly had plenty of that. It was about her boldness. Wendy was unafraid to say what others were thinking, but too afraid to say out loud. She called out celebrities for their mistakes, didn't shy away from tough topics, and made everyone laugh with her biting humor. Born in Asbury Park, New Jersey, Wendy had always been outspoken. She grew up in a family that encouraged her to speak her mind and express herself. She later attended Northeastern University, where she studied communications, laying the groundwork for her future career. After graduation, she moved into radio, where she quickly became known for her fiery opinions and her ability to stir the pot. But it wasn't just her opinions that made Wendy stand out. It was her vulnerability, her realness. While other hosts and personalities were trying to project an image of perfection, Wendy was raw. She made herself relatable, and it wasn't long before people started to tune in, drawn in by her unfiltered style. Her rise to prominence was rapid, and her success in radio led to opportunities in television. Soon she was everywhere, and it was clear. Wendy was a star in the making. She had a knack for making bold statements and stirring up drama, which made her an ideal candidate for the world of talk shows. When The Wendy Williams Show debuted in 2008, it marked a new era for daytime television. Wendy's no-holds-barred approach to celebrity gossip, celebrity feuds, and hot topics made the show a hit from the start. Audiences couldn't get enough of her snarky remarks, her bold opinions, and the way she made everyone feel like they were in on the joke. Wendy became a household name. Her quick wit and fearless nature were part of what made her so beloved, and also what made her a target for criticism. The talk show era. Wendy becomes a powerhouse. The Wendy Williams Show took off almost immediately, thanks to Wendy's larger-than-life personality. It wasn't just about gossip, it was about Wendy herself. She was raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. She didn't just report on the drama in Hollywood, she created it. Wendy's Hot Topics segment became a fan favorite, where she took on celebrity scandals and controversies with a sharp tongue and biting humor. No one was safe from her scrutiny, and her fearlessness made her a force to be reckoned with in the entertainment industry. But it wasn't just her snarky commentary that made Wendy so popular, it was her relatability. She wasn't just a celebrity talking about other celebrities. She was someone who had been through her own struggles and wasn't afraid to talk about them. Wendy opened up about her own experiences with addiction, her battles with weight, and her struggles in her personal life. She wasn't perfect, and she made sure her audience knew it. As Wendy's fame grew, so did her reach. She wasn't just a talk show host, she was a brand. She wrote books, hosted red carpet events, and even appeared in movies. Her larger-than-life persona transcended the confines of her show. She was a cultural icon, known not just for her television career, but for her unapologetic approach to life. She wasn't afraid to be herself, and that authenticity resonated with millions of people. For a time, Wendy Williams seemed untouchable. Her show was a ratings hit, and she was at the top of her game. But behind the scenes, something was changing. The cracks began to show. While Wendy's career was thriving, her personal life was beginning to unravel. Over the years, she had been open about her struggles, but things were starting to get worse. Her marriage to Kevin Hunter, a longtime partner, was under strain. Rumors about infidelity and dysfunction in the marriage began to surface, and it seemed like Wendy's personal life was beginning to take a toll on her. She seemed increasingly distant and disconnected from the bubbly persona that had once defined her. At the same time, Wendy began to show signs of physical and emotional exhaustion. Her public appearances became less frequent, and when she did show up on air, her energy seemed low. Fans started to notice that Wendy wasn't her usual sharp-witted self. She seemed more withdrawn, more frail, and at times even erratic. Her once fierce personality appeared to be slipping away. In 2018, Wendy made the decision to take a break from her show, citing health concerns. She returned a few weeks later, but the cracks in her facade were becoming impossible to ignore. She was increasingly absent from the show, and it was clear that something more serious was going on behind the scenes. But even as her health deteriorated, Wendy continued to soldier on. She tried to keep her show running, but it was becoming evident that something was very wrong. The battle within, health struggles, and addiction. In 2019, Wendy made a shocking revelation to her fans. She was battling Graves' disease, a thyroid condition that can lead to a host of physical and emotional symptoms. She had been struggling with the disease for years, but the impact it had on her was much more severe than anyone realized. Wendy's weight fluctuated dramatically, and she looked visibly frail. But what was more concerning was her mental state. She was increasingly erratic on air, and fans began to question whether her health struggles were affecting her ability to do her job. It wasn't just her health that was causing problems. Wendy had long been open about her past struggles with addiction, but now it seemed like those demons were coming back to haunt her. She began to miss more and more shows, citing health reasons, but the public was left wondering if something else was at play. Behind closed doors, Wendy was fighting a battle that few knew about. Her addiction problems resurfaced, and she found herself grappling with the very thing that had nearly destroyed her career years before. At the same time, Wendy was dealing with the fallout from her marriage. Her estranged husband, Kevin Hunter, had been accused of infidelity, and the public began to speculate about the state of their relationship. Wendy's personal life was now as much a part of her story as her career. But while she was open about her struggles, it was clear that her public persona was starting to crumble. Certainly, here's the continuation of the article, picking up where we left off, expanding further into Wendy's struggles, her diagnosis, and the impact on her career. The aim is to reach exactly 3,000 words. The deterioration. Wendy's struggle with dementia. By 2021, things had taken a turn for the worse. Fans who had adored Wendy for years watched helplessly as the woman who once seemed so confident and invincible struggled to maintain control over her own life. Rumors about her health continued to swirl, and her absences from The Wendy Williams Show became more frequent. In February of that year, Wendy's team released a statement that shocked fans. She was taking a leave of absence from the show due to ongoing health concerns. While the official statement cited her physical and emotional well-being as the reasons for her hiatus, the truth behind the scenes was even more heartbreaking. Reports began to surface that Wendy was struggling with a form of dementia. Dementia is a cruel disease, slowly eroding one's memory, cognition, and even personality. For someone like Wendy, who had built her career on her sharp wit, quick thinking, and charismatic persona, the news was devastating. The Wendy Williams we all knew and loved was disappearing before our eyes. Those who were close to Wendy knew that the signs had been there for a while. Her once quick reactions during interviews were becoming slower, and her famous Hot Topics segments, which once flowed with ease, now felt disjointed. Wendy's family and friends kept a tight lid on the specifics of her condition, but it was clear that dementia was not just a physical ailment, it was taking a mental and emotional toll as well. The public was left in the dark for some time, with only snippets of information trickling out through interviews and occasional social media posts. However, as her condition worsened, the reality of her situation became undeniable. Wendy's life was being overtaken by a disease that would strip away the very things that had made her an icon. The woman who once controlled the conversation, who made us laugh with her quick-witted humor and no-nonsense attitude, was now struggling to remember even the simplest things. 6. The final days, a life forever changed. Wendy's health struggles didn't just affect her career, they affected every aspect of her life. While the world watched in shock as she battled dementia, those closest to her were witnessing the daily toll the disease was taking. Wendy had always been a fiercely independent woman, but as her cognitive abilities declined, she was forced to rely on others more and more. She had always been the one in control, the one who made decisions, and the one who spoke her mind. Now it seemed as though her mind was slipping away from her. For Wendy, dementia meant more than just forgetfulness. It meant losing the ability to express herself the way she once did. It meant losing a part of her identity, the very thing that had made her the powerhouse she was. The woman who had once had the entire world at her feet was now fighting to hold on to herself. Her show, once a reflection of her bold personality, was now a shadow of its former self. The decision was made to bring in guest hosts to fill in for Wendy during her absence. But the show was never quite the same without her. Fans watched as other celebrities tried to take her place, but no one could replicate Wendy's unique style. The show continued without her, but it was clear that something was missing. And while Wendy had once been in control of everything, from her career to her personal life, now it seemed as though she was losing control over the one thing she had left: her mind. A legacy of strength and struggles. Despite everything, Wendy Williams' legacy will not be defined by her struggles. It will be defined by her strength. Wendy wasn't just another celebrity, she was a pioneer. In an industry where many women were forced to fit into certain molds, Wendy shattered expectations. She wasn't afraid to be herself, no matter how controversial or bold her opinions were. She was a trailblazer, carving a path for future women in the entertainment industry who didn't want to conform to traditional standards. Her journey was filled with highs and lows, and while her struggles with addiction, mental health, and dementia have been heartbreaking, they do not define who she was. Wendy Williams was, and still is, a cultural icon. She built a career by being unapologetically herself, by speaking her truth, and by encouraging others to do the same. She didn't fit the mold, and that's what made her so relatable to millions of people. Wendy's legacy isn't just about the gossip, the drama, or the controversies she stirred. It's about the courage she showed in sharing her own struggles. In a world that often hides vulnerability, Wendy was transparent with her audience. She gave us a glimpse into her life, allowing us to see both her strength and her fragility. And for that, she will always be remembered. While Wendy may no longer be the same woman who once dominated the airwaves, her impact on the entertainment industry is undeniable. She paved the way for future talk show hosts, especially women, to speak their minds and take control of their careers. Wendy Williams showed us that being yourself, no matter how messy, complicated, or imperfect, can still lead to success. Wendy Williams' story is one of triumph and tragedy, strength and vulnerability. From her rise to fame as a brash radio host to her heartbreaking battle with dementia, Wendy's life has been marked by both incredible success and devastating struggles. But through it all, she has remained a force to be reckoned with. Wendy's journey has not been easy, but it has been one of resilience, courage, and unyielding determination. Her impact on the world of entertainment will never be forgotten, and her legacy will continue to inspire future generations. If you found Wendy's story moving, poignant, and inspiring, be sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest news, stories, and in-depth features like this one. Wendy Williams' journey may have been filled with both triumphs and tragedies, but her strength, courage, and authenticity will always be remembered. Let's continue to support her in whatever way we can as she fights to reclaim her life. Don't miss out on more stories like this. Hit that subscribe button and stay connected.